Today I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy 15 Multiplayer Edition. This is my first ever episode for the Monster Hunter Hype, which will have 3 parts, one this week, one next week, and the one after next week, which will be the week going into the weekend that the Monster Hunter World Beta begins on the PS4, which is December 9th. That's a Saturday.
Here, have a
so
look.
let me go over something that would resemble Monster Hunter on Final Fantasy 15 MMO.
There
As
you
you
go.
know, in Monster Hunter, you can do co-op up to 4 people, 4-player online co-op. It used to be local co-op, but this time around it's going to be
Take
online
care out
co-op
there.
only. You can play the game by yourself. You can play the game with 2 people or 3 people. It's really up to you. Um, the emphasis on Monster Hunter, however, after you finish a battle, you harvest the materials from the monster's body, and then after that, you use those parts to make armor and weapons. On Final Fantasy, you don't really do a lot of that. And on Monster Hunter, you don't level up. It's your armor and your weapons that you're making stronger, not yourself. You do have some new skills you can apply to these weapons and armors. But as you can see right here, Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy. You level up on this game, and your stats resemble that level depending on what you infused on your weapons. And like I said, that's on Final Fantasy 15. Once we're done with this mission, I go back and show you how all that's done. So this is the crew. These are all real people. Unlike Monster Hunter, if you don't have the select amount of people, they will give you AI to accompany you. Let me collect that. It's also good to collect food. Um, food part. I'm sorry. Ingredients. Food ingredients on this game. However, on Monster Hunter, you get to cook food before you go out on a mission to boost your stats. On Final Fantasy, you get the food ingredients during the battle or before the battle to increase your level afterwards. So it's kind of different. But as far as how it feels to be online together, fighting for the same purpose, it's pretty fun. So there's no magic on Monster Hunter. There's magic on Final Fantasy. I have fire, of course. What's going on, Somatic? Just recording a video. Part 1 of Monster Hunter World Hype. You have potions on Monster Hunter. On Final Fantasy, you can heal yourself or the whole crew, depending on how far you gotten in the multiplayer. I got what is it? I got this healing that'll heal a specific area for a rare amount of time. This is where you get to the monster hunting. Most of the monsters you'll remember. Basically, let me say that most of the monsters you will always remember on Monster Hunter World are huge as fuck. They're huge and they're tough. They're huge and they're fast. These are gonna be an example of the mass of some of the monsters you're gonna fight on Monster Hunter, especially the ones where you all need to team up. But unlike on Monster Hunter, they're a little bit easy to take down, so they gave us 3 of them right here. These monsters breathe fire, but sorry, poison. But there's other monsters on Monster Hunter that do poison, they do fire, they do ice, they do water. I mean, there's different types of monsters there. There's one new monster that has a fucking rock or something that throw a rock at you. I don't know. I think we did good this time because they grouped us up with people that are pretty much the same level as me, which are like level 6. And I've desperately been trying to level up, but it is it's a grind fest on the multiplayer, as you would see. I'm gonna burn them. We really took these guys out much faster than the last crew. There we go. All done. Hope they got their ingredients. Okay. Now, once again, not saying this is exactly like Monster Hunter, but as far as 4-player co-op, here you go. It's gonna be a much more difficult uphill learning curve for Monster Hunter people that have never played Monster Hunter. So if you're a fan of what you saw of Monster Hunter, not Final Fantasy 15, if you're a fan of the trailers and gameplay and of course the graphics of Monster Hunter World, you might be interested to find out that it's gonna be a little bit of uphill. Now, the best way I can describe it is Horizon Zero Dawn meets Bloodborne. You know, Horizon Zero Dawn's big monsters that you know you have to kill and harvest those parts all the time because you know you're gonna have to make materials from it. And then Bloodborne with the difficulty, you know, that it's gonna be giving you. Also, I'm mixing Bloodborne with Horizon because Bloodborne has a huge library of weapons classes you can choose from. Horizon doesn't, but you're making sure in Horizon you kill all the monsters to harvest the parts, so you can make new weapons, ammo, stuff like that. All of that's gonna be a big key point in Monster Hunter Zero Dawn. You get Monster Hunter World basically. If you were good in Bloodborne, if you were good in Horizon Zero Dawn, you probably don't have much to worry about. But I know it might be funny to you guys. There are some people that have never played Bloodborne and they have never played Horizon Zero Dawn, and of course they have never played a Monster Hunter game. So if you're a person that have not played Monster Hunter, Horizon Zero Dawn, or Bloodborne, you might have a little bit of a learning curve. Now let's say you play Dark Souls, and maybe if you were good at Dark Souls, then maybe. But as far as knowing how important it is to harvest, I mean, it should be key. I mean, you should learn it off the bat once you get in there. They have some tutorials for this game. They understand. Capcom understands.
To lead since you settled in here? I know a fella's gone out that way not too long ago. Went all the way to Golden Key just to do some fishing. Said something about getting his nutrition. Goes by the name of Ignis. You ain't seeing too well these days.
Ignis.
Give him a holler and lend him a hand if you see him around, you hear?
I really do like Final Fantasy, the multiplayer. I mean, every time you're advancing the town and you're expanding the area, and it's just really cool. Really like what they did here. And I have no doubt that Monster Hunter World is similar. Your hub world, your little base of operations town, I know it's up to you to make sure they get those resources to keep the town going. And yes, the graphics on the food in Monster Hunter rival that of Final Fantasy, but I do believe Final Fantasy has the photorealism down packed. But there's different types of fucking dishes you can cook that'll give you different stat boosts. Very similar to Final Fantasy. However, Monster Hunter's been doing it for close to 15 years. So you know, that's that. Okay, let me show you a little bit about some weapons. Okay, so you know, you got the sword, you got the this is the club, you got a javelin. These type of weapons are on Monster Hunter. They work a little different. The animations are a little different, of course. You also have daggers on Monster Hunter. You do have a bow. You have actually 3 different types of projectiles on Monster Hunter that are in the bow class, I believe. It's in terms of like a shield, which I don't have one. They do have shields on Monster Hunter, but you always have either a sword or a lance with it, or an axe or something like that. Um, and then a shuriken, I don't think we have that on Monster Hunter. But Monster Hunter World has 14 different class types. So, like I said, it is similar to Bloodborne because it has so many different weapon classes in there. Um, but let's see. Just show you how to level some stuff up on this game. So on Final Fantasy, however, you're going to be fusing different materials to make your weapon stronger, right? So let's just try it out one time.
Not too shabby.
Okay, so I leveled it up. It's no big deal. Just wanted to show that off.
See you around.
On Monster Hunter, when you get new materials, you're basically getting those new materials to make a new weapon. It's not to say you can't upgrade the already current existing weapon. It's just that most of the time you're gonna want a newer weapon. You can enhance the shit out of it from what I remember of playing Monster Hunter, if you choose to. But most of the time I was like, there's always different types of stuff. Actually, I'm gonna get a shield just so I can see what that looks like. And I'm gonna buy this because I got enough money to do it.
Hey, come again.
I'm not a big fan of shurikens on this game, but I'm interested in see how it's gonna look. Oh, that's a nice shield. Nice. Oh, okay, was waiting for that pop in. Very nice looking shield. 40 damage, that's good. This one does 30. Looks nice. The graphic design in this game is just second to none. Final Fantasy did a fucking awesome job, even in the multiplayer.
So
I didn't get a spike or anything, but on Final Fantasy, so for the multiplayer, it's not similar to Monster Hunter World that I know of because I haven't played it. But from all I figured out, I apologize. There is some expansion on Monster Hunter World in the story mode where you won't have one base operation or one house. You'll be able to move around to different houses for the first time in the series. But the person I was watching the YouTube video couldn't show that because it would spoil stuff. But that is possible in Monster Hunter World. Basically, in Final Fantasy, however, you keep doing these missions, you get power, kilowatts, and then you use those kilowatts to expand, and then you have options to go to different places and get different rewards depending on how far you expand. As you can see, I've been playing the shit out of this game. However, my level hasn't been increasing as fast as the progress of these new expansions, but I'm working on it. Some kilowatts, I'm getting down to kilowatts that are only in 6,000. This is my last one in 4,000, and then like everything else is gonna be higher than 4,000, as you can see. So I made sure I tried to take care of a lot of stuff, as you can see. This one's 60,000. That means I'm gonna be grinding for quite a long time to get to some of these other ones. But that's how this works. At any time you can change your character. I don't know how that is in Monster. You might be stuck with that current design, but I'm not sure. You might be able to change the hair and glasses and stuff like that later. I know in Toukiden you could. This is where you would buy your clothing, which I brought every piece of clothing except for these diamond earrings, which I don't have any use for. But these are actually clothing. There's not armor, and
I'll be here.
There's really no armor in here. But yeah, this is Final Fantasy 15, just drawing a little bit of similarities. I will be playing the shit out of this game leading up to Monster Hunter, because it's the closest thing I have to feel like I'm at Monster Hunter already. And I know, yeah, the beta's right around the corner, but my hype and love for that series is very, very high. I've been fortunate that haven't been driven insane by how long I had to wait for Monster Hunter to come back to PlayStation, but you know, I'm welcoming Monster Hunter World with open arms, and I hope you guys do too.